want to do a quick kind of overview of the design and the layout and the measurements, and part of the purpose is just to confirm the measurements with you. So as I go over them, you might have to play the video back a couple times, but if you could double check to make sure that the measurements seem right or are right. And if they're not, let me know. So for the meter, just from looking at your pictures, it looks like it's about 3.5 tall and about 2.5 across. And then I put a note, it's 1.5 deep, so it raises off the case about an inch and a half is what it looks like, give or take. And then the same thing with the bottle in the bottom. It looked like it was about 1.5 inch diameter. So this way, and also off the case another 1.5 inches. Which when you account for that, it's gonna make, you can kind of see this two-fold up, but it's gonna make kind of like the e-cig case. It's gonna make a really kind of a book-like case with this spine here, because there's gonna be the meter and the bottle taking up this that thickness right there. And then on the spine end, that bottle looked like it was about a 1 inch diameter. And looking at one of the pictures where it's next to the meter, it looks like it's about the same height as the meter. If it's not, let me know. I mean, it's not super critical for this. I mean, this could be higher or lower, I guess. I mean, I would like it to be probably the same height, same placement as the meter. And the other thing is, I have a 1 inch gap right here, and the reason for that was, if we pretend this is the bottle, when you fold it over, when it's folded closed, this bottle is gonna be 1 inch, or it's gonna be raised 1 inch off the into the thing. So basically, it's gonna be laying like this, in the case once this is folded. So I wanted there to be enough room here to accommodate for the bottle, so that it doesn't get super bulky, so that everything kind of, when folded closed, everything kind of lays next to each other, if that makes sense. So anyway, 1 inch this way, 3.5 tall, same as the meter, 3.5. That's kind of what it looked like. If that's incorrect, let me know. And then I have here, just around the edge, on this side, I'm guessing a 1/2 inch allowance. Now that allows room for, like, if you get a different size meter, so it has a little play there, or a different size bottle over here. You have some kind of tolerances to accommodate for that. So yeah, 1/2 inch. And the stitching will of course be over here too. The lining stitched to the main shell. And then let me go over on this side. The wallet pocket we had designed. Actually, let me show you the first. This was my first sketch, and as I was playing with the design, I had it folded over, and was thinking how wide, how thick things would be when you have it folded, and how that fits in a pocket or whatever, or a jacket. But one thing I became aware of is the bottle's here, and in the first design, the opening for the cash slot was right here, and on the inside, kind of facing in towards the case. And then the card slots are here too, kind of, and you would pull the cards out this way. But if you have a 1 inch bottle, that the mechanics of it just kind of seemed a little off to me, because if you have cash, I don't have any cash with me, but if you have cash and you're trying to pull it out, you're going to be trying to work your way kind of over this bottle, and I don't know if you can tell from, you're going to have. And so trying to get something flat like cash out with a 1 inch cylinder kind of in the way, it seemed like that may not be the best placement for the opening. And so what I ended up doing in this new design, and you can tell me whatever you prefer. And the other thing was that in order to access the cash, so let's say this was folded over, to access the cash, you would have to literally unfold. Open up the entire case to get to the opening. And I don't know if you want to do that at every store or wherever you are, to have to, you know, open up completely in one hand. It seems like, you know, it'd be more dangerous for things to fall out or whatever. I mean, it shouldn't fall, but because of elastic. But you know, it just seems like more of a hassle, along with the whole 1-inch cylinder in the way. So my thought was to flip it around and to have the opening on the edge over here, and the card slots. So then you would pull out that way, and then you kind of need to decide whether you want a strap or a flap closure. If we do the opening, you know, on the edge here, my feeling is you'd probably want a flap, because you know, there is a chance that that card could slip out, or cash could slip out. I mean, you know, these pockets are going to be pretty tight, so I kind of don't think that's going to be the case. But you know, if for some reason, let me see if I can get that to focus. You know, if you have the case, let's just say, let me make this a little trimmer. And this is the case, and then you know, wherever the flap, whichever side the flap is going to be, if you open up the flap this way, you can, you know, then pull the cash out and cards out, and you have access to it without completely having to open up the case, right? So you can just open it up, and you know, there's the cash, there's the card. Or you know, the flap could be on this side. Okay, let's just pretend this is the flap. So then you would open it up this way, and then your cards and cash are on that side. So I mean, the flap can really be on either side. It depends on, you know, whether you're left-handed, right-handed, and what you feel comfortable with, and how you want, you know, the case to open, that way, or you know, this way. Of course, there is a, you know, up and down to this, because the elastic, at least for this part, you know, the meter goes this way. So as far as positioning goes, the case is always going to have to open this way. It's just a matter of whether you want it to unsnap that way or unsnap this way. So you can decide if you want the flap on this edge higher up. I mean, you know, right here, or if you want the flap on this edge. But I mean, the flap or the strap would work. I mean, these pockets are going to be tight, you know, especially at first. And you know, I say a credit card could fall out, but really, I kind of doubt it would. But you know, over time, leather does loosen up, and the card slots will loosen up, especially if you know, depending on how many cards you put into each slot. So you know, if you have 3 cards in here, 3 cards in here, and one day you're carrying 1 card in this pocket, you know, the leather would have stretched, and there is a potential for the card to slip out. So that is kind of, I mean, my thought was to put the flap here, but it might make it kind of odd. You know, if this is the case here and the flap is here, that means the closure or the opening is you know, on the back side. So you know what I mean. So you'd have to flip the case over, unsnap it, and then open it that way. You know, whereas if the closer was on this side, and you close your case over, and then the flap would come over here, you would just open it, kind of like a journal, you know, and then we open it that way. And then, you know, I guess that would make it easier to get the access to the cash too, is if the flap was on this side and it came over close this way, you would open it over, and you could just pull the leather back just enough to get the cash and cards out, and then close it back up, you know. The natural way to do it if you're right-handed would be to have it on this side, because what you would end up doing is usually people would hold things, right-handed people will hold things in their left hand, you know, like this. You know, you would unsnap it, the flap would go this way, and then you would just use your right hand to, you know, get the stuff out. If you're left-handed, you could have it in that hand, because then your primary hand, this probably is more complicated than it needs to be. So you kind of just decide where you want the flap. I mean, usually it would be on this side. You could also do it on this side. It just depends if you're okay with how the closure is going to be. If it was on this side, if the closure would be behind the case. Normally, if you're holding it, you know, day-to-day use, you know, day in, day out, whether you'd be okay with having to reach behind the case, unsnap it, and then do that. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking. If you want the pockets to be in the original design, to be on the inside, if you feel that's more secure, you feel safer with that, I can do that. I just kind of want to point out two things. Was that you would need to open the case up completely flat to access the cache, and even if it was flat, you would have the bottle to move out the way. So my thought is just to move the cache slot on the edge. I mean, there's still a 1/4 inch allowance, but between the main edge and the cache slot opening. And if you can see that, let me zoom up just really quick. So this is the main edge, the end of the case, assuming there's no flap. The end of the case, this is where the cache slot starts. The cache would go in right here. And then there's a 1/2 inch gap, and then the card slots are right here. So, yeah. Okay, so let me know what you think about the measurements. I have 1 inch, 3.5, 3.5, 2.25, 2.25 this way, and 1.5 in width and also in depth. Like it will come off the case, 1.5 inches. Same thing with this, 1.5 inches in depth. Yeah, and basically the main case, just so you know, is folded open is 8.5 this way. So like a sheet of paper, I guess, 8.5, and then 6.5 this way. And if you wanted, to change that to make it a little bit larger, we could do that too. But when you mentioned using it as a wallet, I kind of want to keep the size kind of slim, especially if you're going to be carrying it daily, like in a jacket or a bag or something. You kind of want it minimalistic, I guess, is the thought. I mean, we could have it larger if we want to add more stuff. There is room right here to add something, hypothetically. I could add another elastic kind of loop or strap. If you got a different bottle, you want to, I don't know, we could play with what you would want here. It could be a pocket. I haven't decided yet. But I mean, it could just be nothing. And the thing is, so all this will be designed and stitched onto the lining, and then the lining then gets glued to and then stitched onto the main outer shell. And the lining can come in black, or I have some lining that we can dye to match the outer, that reddish brown color. So let me know kind of what color you want the lining to be. I think I had mentioned black in the post. I don't remember. But yeah, it could actually be pretty close to the outside shell, what the color it's going to be. The lining leather is a little bit thinner, and so it absorbs dye a little differently. So I don't know if I can exactly match the outer, the outer shell, the main shell. But it can be close, or it could just be a contrasting black, interior. And the elastic will be black also. So, it's something to think about. If the elastic's black, it will stand out kind of against the reddish brown. My thought is, typically when you do a wallet, the interior is the black or brown, and then the outer can be really any color. So the standard practice is to just use black lining. But if you wanted to, I can try to match the outside case. So let me know about all those measurements, what you think about the orientation of the cache slot, and then the lining color, like the black or that suntan, the reddish brown dye that we have chosen. Okay, take care, Roy.